Hey guys, Daniel here. As many of you probably know, I'm a huge Pokemon fan. And the thing you see a lot these days is people trying to recreate Pokemon from memory. So as an artist and a huge Pokemon fan myself, I always wanted to try this challenge. And I think that this is the right time, right now. So we almost have 1,000 Pokemon at this point. I've seen them all over the years, but have I also memorized them? That's the big question. So let's see. Okay, now I have to generate 5 random Pokemon. And those Pokemon I have to draw from memory. So the first Pokemon I have to draw will be type. Okay, again. Pukumuku. Oh, that's a really easy one. Yes! Ah, great. Alright, Pokemon number 2 will be Liligans. Okay. And Pokemon number 3 will be Dedenne. Ah, another easy one. Pokemon number 4 will be Liligans. Okay, ooh, that will be a challenging one. Okay. And number 5, Irmi. Okay. Alright, we've generated the 5 Pokemon, and overall they are pretty easy. They could have been a lot more challenging, so I'm happy. But now I have to draw them from memory, so wish me luck. Alright, the first Pokemon I have to draw from memory is Pukumuku. And my drawing of Pukumuku has to resemble the original design as much as possible. I also gave myself only 5 minutes to make this drawing, because if I don't give myself a time limit, I will keep on refining this drawing all day, and I have an order for a Pokemon to make, so 5 minutes is fine. By the way, I'm really happy that Pukumuku is the first Pokemon I have to make from memory, because its design is so simple, it's so easy to remember. At this point I was really confident that I would pull off the design. I mean, this looks like a Pukumuku, right? The only thing I wasn't sure about was the shape of its mouth. I decided to give it a cross-shaped mouth, like an other famous character we all know. But soon we will compare the two designs, and then we will see how accurate my design is. The only thing that's left to do now is coloring the Pokemon in. The only color I wasn't sure of was the color of its eyes, and you will see that a lot in this episode. A lot of wrong colors for the eyes. Alright, let's compare my Pukumuku with the official Pukumuku design. Well, I think that I did a pretty good job. Of course, it's not totally 100% one-on-one, like the color of its eyes and the shape of its mouth. By the way, I totally forgot that the shape of its mouth was supposed to be a Japanese symbol, but I'm actually really happy with how my design came out, and I give myself an 8 for the accuracy. Okay, and the next Pokemon I had to design was Liligans. And let me say upfront, I had such a hard time with this one. As soon as I started drawing, I just went completely black. I tried so hard remembering, but I just couldn't get a picture of her in my head. Like, I had a really hard time remembering if it had arms or not. And also the flower on its head, what did it look like again? I had such a hard time with this one, and I only had 5 minutes, so that's not a lot. So I can already tell you that this will be a really disastrous design. If you look at its face, it looks more like a Skiploom than a Lilligant at this point. And the same goes for its dress. I just had no idea, so I basically made my own design in 5 minutes. And in the end, I decided to give Liligant arms anyway. It just felt really wrong without. The only thing that's left now is to color it in. At least I remembered its color scheme, so I'm really happy about that. So if you couldn't recognize it before, I hope that the colors help now. Yeah, this design is not great. Alright, let's compare the two. Yeah, I did a really poor job on this one. At least the colors match, so that makes it a little recognizable. But I would give myself a 4. If not for the colors, this would be a 3 for sure. Let's quickly move on. Well, luckily for me, this design was a lot easier. It's everybody's favorite Pikachu clone, Dedenne. Well, at least my favorite. And like I said, this one was way easier for me. I remembered the proportions and most of the details. And I'm really lucky that it looks so much like Pikachu, so that really helps out. When you look at this rough sketch, you already recognize it as Dedenne. The only thing that I wasn't 100% sure of were the whiskers. And I basically went with my gut feeling, and I did what felt the best. And as you can see, I didn't really change too much up from the sketch. It felt all really good to me. So let's speed this up. And now I only have to color it in. Like Liligant, I remembered most of its colors. so I didn't have to think too much about it. The only part I wasn't too sure of were the cheeks. I wasn't sure what color I had to give them. So once again I used my gut feeling and I went for brown. Let's compare the two. And overall, I'm pretty happy with this one. It wasn't as close as I hoped it would be, but it's still really recognizable as Dedenne, so. The cheeks were supposed to be red like Pikachu, how could I forget? But I was pretty close with its whiskers. The design isn't as accurate as Pukumuku, but I will still give myself a solid 7. Next up is Liligans. And oh my goodness, this one was so tough. First, does anyone even remember what Liligans looks like? I had such a hard time remembering this design. And the only things that came up in my mind were Swatloon, its pre-evolution, and Kricketune, a total different Pokemon. So you can imagine that this will be a trip. I used the vague memories I had of it, and I basically just kept drawing. And I tried really hard to not think of Kricketune by making this design, as you can see that was really challenging for me. But the one thing I do remember are leaves. I remember that it has leaves on its head. But sadly, I don't remember what it looks like. And once again, I just went with my gut feeling and just made something up. I did remember antennas, so I added antennas to its head. And for its body, I had absolutely no idea. It's based on a cricket, so I just gave it a cricket body and gave it a leaf design. And for the legs, I had just no idea. Oh, it looks so much like Kricketune, so bad. This challenge really challenges your memory. Out of all the 900 plus Pokemon, how good do you remember all of them? It's pretty fun, but also pretty painful at the same time. I just gave it leaf blades as arms and we are done. And now it's time to color Liligans in. Once again, I think that I did a pretty good job on the colors. I guess colors are just easier to remember than shapes. Alright guys, brace yourself. Let's compare the two. Yeah, I did a really poor job on this one. At least the body shapes are pretty similar, I guess. And the color scheme also gets pretty close. But for the rest, this is a really bad design from memory. This is even worse than Liligans, I would say. And that's why I will give myself a 2. Okay, one more to go. It seems like that we are in some sort of a pattern, because the last one was really tough and the next one is pretty easy again. Irmi has like Pukumuku a really simple body, so that makes me really happy. He has really simple shapes and he's basically a little leaf bug. The only thing I wasn't too sure about was the thing on the top of its head. I remember it being a little curly thing, but that's all I remember. Well, the sketching went really easy, so now it's time to trace. By the way, I realized something. A lot of the Pokemon we are making have leaf designs. We had Liligant covered in leaves, Liligans who was also covered in leaves, and now Irmi who is also covered in leaves. This is basically the drawing Pokemon from memory, Leaf Edition. Funny coincidence. But I'm convinced that this is a pretty accurate design. It looks like a Irmi to me. I also had the mouth wrong first, but I fixed that quickly. Only the eyes are left now, and now Irmi's only missing its color. Irmi has multiple color variations, but I went with the green one. This time I was also pretty sure about the eye colors. And we are done. Let's compare this last Pokemon too. I think that I did a pretty decent job on this one. The thing on the top of its head looks really different. Huh. And it's supposed to be grey. I was right about the mouth, but I was wrong about the nose apparently. And the leaf patterns are different too. Like with Dedenne, it's not as close as I thought it would be, but I will still give myself a solid 6. Well, this was a lot of fun to do. And I hope that you guys also enjoyed this video. If you want to see a part 2, please like this video then. Alright, bye guys.